Hey guys, Ron here with BBM Reptiles. I got my first clutch of the season. Let me show you how I set that up.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. Game made, limitless, game made. I'ma wait till the time, I love this money, we set it on fire, Don't mean nothing, it's one for the night.
Hey guys, Ron here with BBM Reptiles. Thank you again for taking the time for stopping by my channel. And if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and follow me along in this incredible journey of reptile keeping, specifically working with, well, you know, ball pythons. Guys, I got my first clutch, my eggs dropping of the 2022 season. I'm super excited because it's just the start of many other clutches that I expect to drop within this season. So in this pairing, I paired Dreamsicle to my pastel het lavender albino, and since I just recently got her off the lay of those eggs, I want to actually take you through the process of me pulling the eggs apart, setting it to the incubator, and it's going to be a while before I do some egg cutting clutches. But you know what, until we get there, let's look at some egg drops. Now there's a few things that I have to actually go through, make sure that that she laid all the eggs. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to check out the female, make sure she's okay, and make sure she laid all the eggs. Yeah, she has a tight coil, as you can see. She has a good coil around the eggs, so that gives me an indication that she's done. So this is the first step of actually getting the snake off the eggs. So let me just move this camera a little bit more back so I have more room to access the female. Now picking up the female is really isn't that hard. Now, sometimes when you catch them at an early stage of just recently laying the eggs, they're in a deep daze because basically they're just recuperating. Sometimes when you see videos of the snakes being extremely defensive, in other words, protecting the eggs, it's because usually it's been a few hours after they laid. But when they just finish laying their eggs, you're gonna see them coiling up just like that. And they're in the days, so this is the easiest time to actually pull eggs. So let me just get the female off of this. It's not that much of an issue of how I get the eggs off. Okay, and as you can see right here, you can see basically how she's collapsed inside, so that gives an indication that she's done. She's done. As you can see, as a matter of fact, there she is, not aggressive at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the eggs. Let me pull the eggs out first. Let me get the eggs out the way. And I'm going to set Mama back here so I can start working with the eggs. Okay, now something that I wanted to show is basically how, you know, how simple it is to pull apart the eggs. So you see, basically it's a simple pull. As a matter of fact, let me dot it the way that basically I found it. That's something that I gotta make sure that I dot the eggs exactly how I find them, and then basically after that I'll mark it, you know, that way there won't be an issue. So let's pull these eggs apart. You know, see how simple it is? Again, like I said, I just got the female just recently laying. So it's not that much of an issue of pulling apart. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be actually pulling this all crazy and, you know, making tears on the eggs. You know, I want to make sure that I'm avoiding that. Make sure I get it on all sides. There you go. There's no rush. There's no rush when we're putting up these eggs apart. And very gently, making sure you're looking at a better angle that you can get at them. Now these, you can tell, these are the first ones that were set. Obviously because they were on the bottom, but also how rough it could be a little bit to separate them. Now I like to basically roll them when I'm separating my eggs. It's like a rolling pattern. And I'll do that to make sure I don't get a tear. And I get at all the angles. I go for the easiest ones to pull them apart. Just give it like a roll. You got that one out. Make sure that we get all angles, so it's not a specific area that's concentrating and you won't get those tears. And we're down to the last ones. Kind of looks like marshmallows. Okay, now we're gonna candle them. Turn off this light so we can have a better look at how it is that we candle the eggs. Now you can see this flashlight is kind of dull, but you see that circling right there? That dancing bubble right there? That's basically the center point of the egg that I want to look at. And that's basically where I want to mark, where I see I want my eggs line up. Need a new flashlight. And there it is. There's this one. So we're going to mark it right here. Go on to the next one. You already can see it right there. The center, so it's right next to basically, like I said, where I lined them up. And there it is. The center of the egg, where the concentration is. Now, if you don't catch the eggs laying at the time, then basically what I would suggest is basically making sure you have a good sized tub, because you won't be able to separate them. And if you're not going to be able to separate them without risking tearing them up, then you just have to basically leave them as they lie. Right there. And the final one. Let's get a good eye on this. If I'm mistaken, right there. Okay, so we got 2, 4, 6, 8 eggs. Now, let's set up the egg box. Okay, just a few things. I have here, obviously, my perlites. Now, basically, I'll take the 16-ounce cup, deli cup, and I like to actually use 2 of them. So, we have 2 portions of these, the 16-ounce deli cups. And you know something I forgot to actually add on? My stickers. Now, I know a lot of people, they put placement cards, but these are only like 99 cents and it has like 128 labels. So basically I just take them and I'll just write what the clutch is and stick it on the side, or the front as a matter of fact. So stick it up there, just to make sure I do that. Now, as far as the separation with the perlite, not touching the eggs, because I know, for example, breeders, they'll use vermiculite and you could see them when they put the eggs on top of the vermiculites. I'm not too keen, me personally, because I don't have that experience. And you know that old saying, if it's not broken, why fix it? So you can either go with Hatch-Rite trays or the Dragon Hatch trays. Now, I don't have too many of these. If it was me, my personal preference would be the Dragon Hatch, because it does has a lot more space for the eggs versus the Easy Hatch trays. You know, they're a lot more easier to actually work when you get those ostrich size eggs. So, since I don't have too many of those, I'm gonna go down to Old Faithful, which are these egg crates. Now, just basically putting it there on top of that, it doesn't always necessarily separate it from the moisture of the perlites and the water. So I like to basically use the sheet, put that on the bottom, and then on top of that, put the egg crate. So I gotta make sure that I got a good setup of water. Now, I like to basically start on my incubator at least a month in advance, so it makes sure that it acclimates to the right temperature that I want, and I have plenty of water bottles in there. So that way, when I'm actually putting the water into the perlites, it's already set at the temperature of the incubator. One down. Now it's not a general size. I mean, like, I just basically just put just enough. I don't like to overfill this, just enough. So in other words, I would use a bottle and probably like a quarter of the second bottle. I won't use the whole thing. Now, usually I make sure that I could see the water. It's not overflowing at all. Now it is extremely moist, but not to the point that it overruns. That's the ideal water mixture that I like to do. And again, like I said, there's a purpose of this. It's basically, I need as much separation as I can from the substrate and the eggs. And the other cool reason that I love using that pink mesh is what I use for my spacers to hold the eggs, to actually hold it in place. And I just get a pack of forks in Walmart. You know, a good pack is gonna cost you like $1. You know, you get a pack of these like for $1. And this is basically how I'll set up the eggs, since I already have them lined up. And this is a good number 8, so we're gonna put 4 and 4. The other important thing is we gotta make sure that the eggs are not touching the sides of the walls, because I don't want the condensation that builds up on the wall to actually run over to the eggs. Let's see, we got room for, yeah, let me play with this. It's kind of like playing Jenga. Make some beautiful lavenders and pastel lavenders out of this clutch. This is what I call at this point, I call this, as a matter of fact, these are, this type of clutch I would call, did I say maintenance? No. Go, holding everything into place, and I won't have to worry about movements or rolls. As you can see, the eggs, they're not touching the side of the wall. You know, they have a good separation, so nothing is getting contact with the walls when the condensation does actually start circling the entirety of this egg box. Now let's put it in the incubator. And there we have it. Due date is July 11th. Now we got it set 89. I already have the boxes. They're all empty. But basically I'm getting it set up for when I get more babies. And set probe at 88. I set it at 88 because it doesn't really make a difference, because the ambient temperature always actually pushes it around 90. So setting at 88 is the easiest way. And the humidity is always high. Now, until I finally start cutting some of those clutches, I want to actually document the journey and the progression of what this 2022 season has for me. So I want to always give you the perspective of what my breeding experience could be, and maybe you could find some similarities or even what to expect when you even start your own. Again, guys, thank you very much for taking the time for stopping by my channel. Again, if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and follow me along in this incredible journey. And until the next time, I'll see you in the next video.